Hello, my name is Sara-Jayne Parsons. I'm from the art galleries at TCU, and I'm delighted to welcome visiting artist John Rasimus from Sweden, who's joining us today in the studios. Hi, John.
Hi.
Hi. John's work is part of a project that's opening at Fort Worth Contemporary Arts on February 25th. The project is Persona, and it features 3 concurrent individual solo exhibitions. And John's exhibition within this presentation is called Hideout. And we're going to talk to John for a few moments today about that project. And just to tell you a little bit about John, he uses drawing, woodcut printmaking, also works with animation, but he makes these very ambitious, large-scale installations. And we're going to find out about the installation that he's going to make for us here at TCU. And just to give you a little bit of his background, he studied printmaking at the Art School of Falun in Sweden and also studied in New York at the Art Student League before getting his MFA at the Academy of Fine Arts in Umeå, Sweden. And he also, like the 2 other artists in our show, Richie Budd and Kris Pierce, John has also shown his work internationally across Europe in places like the Arnolfini Gallery in Bristol, and then also across Sweden and more recently at the University of Tucson in Arizona. And we're really excited that John can be here with us today. Impossible, partly sponsored by the Swedish Art Grants Committee. The Swedish Arts Grants Committee. And we're really grateful to their support for making this happen. It's such a wonderful opportunity for our students to meet any artist, but particularly one that has traveled across the globe during a pandemic. And we're really thrilled that he could be that intrepid to come here for the love of printmaking. So John Rasimus, tell us a little bit about your plans for your exhibition Hideout that's happening at Fort Worth Contemporary Arts. What will our listeners see when they come into the gallery?
Well, it's an installation all made by paper. So if you don't know that this is paper, it's kind of, I think it gets even more weird if you don't know that. But it's all paper. I work as a printmaker, and then I start to fold everything. And for this show, I'm folding life-size outhouse, and the installation's name is Hideout. And I guess what people sometimes I think people, the visitor that see my art, I think it tells more about the visitor than me, because you start to think what I'm, as a visitor, what am I seeing? What am I looking at? And so I think that's really up to the viewer.
So what's outhouse for John Rasimus?
Well, it's I was thinking, like, I'm showing works all over the world. Like, you have shows here and there, and sometimes it feels like, oh, now I'm sitting in my studio. It's like sitting in my outhouse, and out comes all these drawings and all these, canvases and everything. So this is like, okay, I'm making an outhouse. It's could be like a alter ego studio.
Or a scatological statement of
Yeah.
some kind. You can hear me giggling here because I have to say John's work really has always grabbed my attention for its sense of humor and sort of vitality and liveliness. And I'm certainly excited to see Outhouse come to life in this sort of humorish way. It's sort of, the idea for it is cartoonish, it's kind of absurd. But I think what I'm really hoping that our students will sort of grasp is really the amazing creativity, the idea of an outhouse, but then creating everything within the exhibition from paper. So your prints that are folded and the illusion that's involved to make them look like planks of wood. It's a quite intensive process that you've made for yourself to make this particular installation.
I'm thinking also that when you see the color, usually I like Americana. I like U.S. things like Elvis, 50s, 30s, and also like old comics. I'm not so much into comic. People usually think that I love comics, but I like the image of the comic. I don't read comics, but I like images from the comics. And that's, so when I was making the yellow paint for the log or the plank, I saw old the Phantom comic, and he was, or was it Mandrake, had this box that was yellow, and I thought, oh, the wood, the plank would be, this yellow would be super nice. So it's always connected to something like this, I guess. Otherwise, it wouldn't have. If I hadn't seen this comic, the Mandrake from the 30s or 40s, it wouldn't have been having this yellow color paint.
So there's sort of historical elements that you're sort of reinventing and
I think everything comes together in the outhouse in a way, with my Americana thing and the color, the ink, and also the outhouse is also. I grew up with all these American movies, like youngsters having fun and driving cars or whatever. So, and also the outhouse is like a place where you have your hideout, where you hide from your parents, you hide from the world in a way, and it's just a community of young people doing things. So I will have in the area around the outhouse, you will find like cards, joker cards, they've been playing cards, everything is printed like woodcut. So you will have like cans, you will have matchboxes, cards, shelves, that trashed things, boxes, pizza boxes, of course. And so you can see when you walk around the outhouse. So the thing is kind of a Duchamp thing too, because it is not an outhouse, because you can't use it. If you step into it, it will probably fall down because it's all paper.
Right, the illusion.
So it's the illusion of an outhouse. So it's not really an outhouse. It's a sculpture. So because you can't be using it as an outhouse, it would be impossible, because it would crash if you step into it. So that is also a thing, and I want to add also that I went to film school in Sweden, and I think sometimes I've been making scenography with my art. So it's a kind of a scenography that tells a story, but the story is yours to tell when you see it.
Right. That's what I love about your work, is that you kind of leave that open-ended. So you sort of suggest a potential for narratives. You give particular iconic figures or a situation or a suggestion of an event, but then you leave it for the audience to decide what this might be about or of, or really the story behind the objects that you're presenting. There's sort of multiple possibilities, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Great. Okay, John, is there anything else that you want to talk about with Hideout?
No, I'm happy to be here, and I love to meet the students and the audience and everyone that visiting the show while I'm here. I'm leaving at 28th.
And I should say that our students are going to be working carefully with you for the next couple of weeks to help with preparations for the exhibition. So I'm excited that they get not only the opportunity to meet you, but also a kind of behind-the-scenes look at what goes into the making of your work and the presentation of your work for exhibition. So that's a really generous opportunity for our students. So thank you for being open to doing that.
Thank you.
All right, John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.